Good morning, everyone. As promised, it is 10:30 a.m. Central Time, and we are ready to go live and do a little fun craft. My name is Trisha, and I'm with Happy Home Designs. I am the designer creator for the company, um, and I just want to share with everybody how much I love creating things myself, crafting, and how much fun you get out of it, as well as how much peace it kind of brings to my life. So, today I am going to be working on a Santa Claus project. Um, it should be super simple. I don't think it will take a really long time. Bear with me just 1 minute. Not sure if I will be able to read my comments or not, but that's okay. Thank you all for joining me. As you hop on, if you will, send me a message, just a comment letting me know that you're here. Maybe I can get it pulled up on my phone. And hopefully I will be able to see it. There we go. Okay. Anyway, I'm glad everybody's here. Like I said, this is Trisha. I'm with Happy Home Designs, and I am going to be working on a Santa Claus project today. So what I'm going to be using is I've got a block of wood that's already stained. It is a 2-inch thick, I think you guys can see that, block of wood. It's about 10 inches tall and about 10 inches wide. Hey, Kathy, thank you for joining us. Oh, are you reading it with captioning? That's wonderful. Um, Also, I'm going to be using a chalk couture stencil. This one says Santa Approved. That's the title for the project this morning. I will be using a sheet of muslin. This is not cut to size yet, but I will show you what I'm going to do with that in a minute. Of course, I always have to have some ribbons because you guys know me, and every project's better with a bow. I am using chalk couture ink, Chalkology inks this morning to use with my transfer. And the last thing, also I have some beads. I've got some half round beads. So these are the rounds that are split in half. I only need a few of those. And then I've got regular beads. So that's everything I'm going to be using for this project. The first thing I'm going to do though, I want my beads to not be the natural color today. I actually want some of them to match the stain of the wood a little bit better. The wood actually looks really, really dark on the camera, but it's actually just, I think it's dark walnut stain. Um, well, I'm glad that you got the captioning there, Kathy. Hey, Leah. So what I'm going to do to kind of paint or stain these beads this morning, I am going to use, I've got a cup of water and a little plastic fork inside of it. I am going to go ahead and put some beads in my water with my paint to let them start soaking. I'm going to use, this is burnt umber from Apple Barrel paint. It's brown, just a dark brown. And what you do in order to paint your beads to make it easier is you add some water or put some water in a cup and then add your paint down in. This paint is getting old, so it's almost to the end and it's getting thick. It's making a mess, but that's okay. Let me get this up here. Got it all over my fork. I may actually have to take off the lid. It's almost out, but it should be enough to do the trick today. Get some paint down in there. I knew I was really close to being out of the brown, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter at all. So once I get the paint in, get that last big glob. Don't want it to drip. All I have to do is so it's already turned my water brown. I'm just going to mix it up pretty good. It's all over the back of my fork, but by the time I put my beads in there, I can probably get some of that off the fork and actually use it. This is just a much faster way of coloring your beads. You could do any color. You just put acrylic paint in water, drop your wood rounds or wood beads down inside, and it gives them a stained effect to whatever color. So much easier than painting them all one by one. So I'm going to be using the half rounds. I think I just need 4 of these this morning. These are 1/2 inch, half round beads, so they're that big. Actually, they're full inch, and they're round on one side, flat on the other. And I think I just need 4 of those. I'm going to drop them in. I know it's a mystery as to what I'm going to be doing with the beads today, especially the half rounds. And then I need several of these. I think these are probably 1/4 inch beads, and they're full round circles with the holes in the middle. Hey, Aunt Barbara. So I'm going to get, that's 5. Let me see. I'm also using some red ones. I'm going to say I need about 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Move these out of the way. They're loud and really noisy. Move them over. And so now I've got my beads in my paint and water solution. Just going to mix them around and let them sit in there and soak up some of that color. I want to do these first to give them plenty of time to soak up some of that color and to give them a stained look. So I'll just squish them around every once in a while. But as you can tell, they're already turning chocolate, which is about the color of my board. Okay, so what the whole goal is to put this image, the Santa approved, on my muslin, mounted on my wood, and then I will also have a bead hanger, a bow, and the half rounds are going to kind of look like tacks in the fabric. So as you can tell, I've already cut my muslin. It is a little bit bigger than the surface I'm going to be using. I want to have it have the torn edge look. So I'm just going to clip the corner of my muslin and then just rip it if I'm strong enough. I didn't rip it straight. Too close to the selvage. Start it again. There we go. I want it to have that torn edge look to make it look a little rustic or a little roughed up. I'm going to clip that off. And it also kind of wrinkles that edge just a little bit. Can you guys see this? So that will be one side. And then I've got to do the other side. Don't have a lot of room. I may have needed a bigger piece of fabric, but we'll make it work. I am not very strong. I am a weakling. If I can just get it started. I practiced this before I started the video today. They say practice makes perfect, but not always. I can cut it. I could cut it and make it exactly the right size, but I really want the edges of it to be torn and to be a little roughed up. There's a lot of extra thread. I'm just going to cut that off. And now you can see it's a little bit, it's not quite as wide as my board, which is what I was going for. And then I need to cut my ends too. Make a little cut, do a little tear. And then the same thing on this end. Little cut. Hey, Anna, good morning. Okay, so now I have my fabric. It's got strings hanging, it's fine, it's got wrinkles around the edges. That's the look I was going for. And now you can see when I put it on my board, it is a little bit smaller on all of the edges. It's a little bit smaller, and which is exactly what I was going for. Of course, now I have threads all over my shirt. So what is everybody doing today? Are you guys crafting? Are you enjoying just a peaceful, relaxing day? Are you on break while you're at work? What's going on? I have got a baby today. He is asleep. And I'm doing craft projects and laundry. I'm trying to get a big head start on my Christmas activities or Christmas decorations and to get some products in people's hands. Okay, so now I've got it exactly the way I want it. It's not exactly straight, but that's okay. This is a rustic project. So what I'm going to do, this transfer is actually going to be painted onto this surface, but I want to adhere the actual muslin to my surface first. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got my hot glue gun over here. I use a Sure Bonder cordless hot glue gun, and I'm just going to barely squirt some in the corners because I don't want the hot glue to come through where I'm going to be painting on the muslin in a minute. But I do want the hot glue to help hold this muslin in place so it won't lift. So I'm just putting a tiny little dab in each corner. And after I get my surface or my muslin painted, I'll go back and I may glue it down a little bit more. So I've got my muslin attached, but like I said, it's just barely attached in the corners. And that's what I'm going for right now. Laundry and online shopping. We're all going to be doing a lot of online shopping this year, I have decided. I couldn't sleep last night. I was up in the night, and sure enough, I was putting things in an Amazon cart, but I haven't checked out yet. Okay, so I've got my muslin on there, and now I'm going to put my Santa face, and it says Santa approved, super cute. This is a chalk couture stencil. Um, some of you may not know what chalk couture is. Chalk couture is stencils, but they're more than stencils. They're actually screens. Let me get this pulled out. They are sticky back. They are reusable. So just because I use this today does not mean it goes in the trash. I just wash it really good in warm water, and then I can use it again and again and again. A lot of my stencils I have used as many as 50 times. So the idea with a stencil is your paint goes through the opening in the words and in the design. But this one, and I know it's kind of hard to see, they actually have a screen inside the letters. That's what allows your paint to go through, and it's much easier than a regular stencil, and it makes a lot less mess. So it's a screen, kind of like if you picture doing screen printing, a silk screen on a t-shirt in a manufacturing company, it's the same process, only on a smaller level. So all I have to do is get my Santa stuck on here. I do have to make sure it all goes on the muslin and not over on those frayed edges, which that one was pretty close to the edge, so I have to lift it up. When you're working with fabric, you do need to iron that piece of fabric first because you do not want wrinkles in your fabric. When you have wrinkles, then your transfer is not going to lay as smoothly as it needs to, and it'll make a little smudge spot. I'm trying to get it on there just perfect. I think I've got it. So as you can tell, I was sticking it down, lifting it back up, laying it back down again. And then after you get it exactly where you want it positioned, you just smooth it all out. And I'm going to show you guys what I have. So my transfer is actually stuck to the muslin, and the muslin is stuck to the wood block. My muslin keeps fraying out. There's another thread. Okay, and then all you do, I'm trying to see, I'm gonna do it probably sideways. Stuck down really good. My Santa face is actually going to be gray. You'll understand why in just a minute. I have got the word Santa, it's going to be in red. The word approved will be in red. My berries will be in red. They're little holly berries. Can you see those right there? Those will be red. My holly itself will be green. There's some on Santa's hat. And there's a big piece down at the back of, I think it looks like it's kind of on his shoulder. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I usually work from the top of my surface and go down, and that way I can lift my transfer up and look underneath it as I'm working. I've got two different greens. I think I'm going to use, this green is called Pesto. It's a little more rustic looking. I'm going to use that one, and there is my gray, and I've got red. I think that's all I need. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my word Santa on here, and I hope you guys can see. It's kind of hard. I may tilt it up a little bit like this, and I'll work down towards you instead of away just like that. So this is a squeegee. I literally just put a little bit of paint on the squeegee, it's ink, I'm sorry, the chalk ink on the squeegee, and then rub it lightly across. I try to go all one direction whenever I'm working with fabric because it could possibly bleed out around the edges if you're taking your ink different directions. And I'm just trying to avoid that. And I know this is going to be upside down for you guys, but it's upside down for me too right now. I wanted you to actually be able to see as I was getting the chalk on, or the ink on. Okay, so I've got my word Santa. Take off some of the extra. And while I'm at it, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to go ahead and do these little red berries right beside. This is a very tight area to work in, and it's kind of hard to not get my ink on the rest of the transfer that I don't want it on. Because remember, my holly leaves are going to be green. Okay, let me lay that down. I'm going to lift this up just a little bit. So you guys can see what I've got. And of course my threads are all sticking to it. Can you see that? So there's my word Santa and my berries. Now I'm just going to lightly lay it back down. I'm going to pull these threads off. Lightly lay it back down, and then I'm going to go back and do my holly leaves. And they, of course, are going to be in green. Pesto. I guess they could have been the bright green. The bright green is called Meadow. But I liked it because I'm making my Santa gray and he's more vintagey looking. I kind of wanted my leaves to be a little more earth toned anyway. You guys don't forget, as you're watching the video, or even if you're watching the replay later, be sure to sprinkle the video with your friends. By sprinkle, I mean S-H-A-R-E. So you want to make sure that all your friends know that you watched, especially if you enjoyed the video, that you want to let them know to watch too. Okay, so I've got that. I'm going to go, there's a little bit of holly right inside of his, it would kind of be on his cap on the side. I'm going to try to get it real quick. It is a little difficult. I do have another tool, but I did not bring it downstairs with me. That makes getting into small areas a little bit easier. I'm kind of just using the corner of my squeegee. Get that. Can you see that? You probably can't see it that well. I'm pretty far away from the camera today. Get it. And then I also need to get those red berries. They're right in the middle of the holly leaves. It is holly, right? Holly with the berries, right? Okay, I think I've got that covered. You guys can see that little section there. But before I lift it, I'm going to go quickly with my gray and cover most of Santa until I get down here to this last piece of holly. And I'm using a much bigger squeegee because he's a bigger area that I want all one color. Try to take it right up to that green. Chalk Couture is, I actually sell Chalk Couture too for anybody who is interested in purchasing pieces to make their own designs at home. I would be glad to hook you up with that if you just let me know. But I use Chalk Couture products with most all of my crafting, and I use it when I'm making items to sell. But definitely, if it's something you're interested in, if you're interested in becoming a designer for Chalk Couture, which is what I am, I can hook you up with that as well. Or if you're just interested in buying a piece or two to make your own special sign for whatever occasion, we do have a catalog. There are hundreds of stencils to choose from. Okay, I'm going to lift this. I've got about half of it done. Oh, he's going to be so cute. Okay, I'm going to kind of lift this up if I can do it. Can you guys see my Santa upside down? Hey, Katie, good morning. Okay, I'm going to lay him back down gently. And I will not go back over the areas that I've already raised up. But I'm going to go down here and get this big holly leaf and the berries so I can take the gray right up to the edges. And then I'll show that to you as well. Like I said, it is difficult to get those super tight areas. This is my first time using this particular stencil. I've had it for several weeks and just have not had the opportunity to use it, but I thought it was so cute for this project this morning. I went upstairs and I'm like, what am I going to do today? What kind of live do I want to do? I already had this block of wood. It was already stained, so that made that perfect. And I thought, oh, muslin and a vintage Santa Claus go hand in hand. While I've got my red, I'm going to go ahead and get my word approved down here. And then I just have to go over the rest in the gray. Also, you guys, when you do sprinkle the video, be sure to tell me so that I know you've done so. And the contest is still going on for our gift box giveaway. And that is when we reach our goal for our new followers for our page. Things are growing tremendously, and I really appreciate everybody's help. It has worked out wonderfully having you guys invite the people that you know would love this type of thing to our group. And we're getting closer and closer to our goal every day, almost every hour of every day. And that will be a gift box that is valued at over $100. It is it's a sign, 2 Christmas tree signs, and then a Christmas garland with trucks, the red trucks on it, a garland to hang up wherever you wish to hang it. And then also in the basket is a $40 value gift certificate, gift certificate for our new Creators Club that we hope to start in January. Basically, it's a 1-month subscription to that Creators Club. Okay, let me get this pulled off. Oh, you guys, it is so cute. Lay my back on the board. Look at what I have. Look at that vintage Santa on the muslin. Isn't he so cute? I love it. I love the fabric with the torn look on the edges because it really just goes with that vintage Santa. And my threads keep pulling out, which is totally fine. I do not need my chalk ink anymore, so I'm just going to take the extra off of my squeegee and squirt it, or just rub it right back on the edge. And then I'm going to lay these on a napkin. They need to be washed. Let me close these up and get them out of my way. You like it, Anna? He's real vintagey. I love Santa. I just think the whole idea of Santa is just magical. And I don't think I've ever outgrown wanting to do Santa decorations and things like that. And I know, some of us don't believe in celebrating that holiday with Santa Claus, but it's my personal preference that I enjoy doing Santa. Okay, cleaned up some of my mess. All right, so now what I'm going to do, where I put the hot glue dots, I put them just in the corners. I am actually going to use those half wood rounds and make it kind of look like, they'll kind of look like nail heads on fabric. So these have been soaking. These are my half rounds and then my little wood beads. They've been soaking in my water. Let me get out a few layers of paper towels here. I'm going to move my Santa out of the way. Let me move him over this way. I have much more of my table showing today than I'm used to, so I'm trying to get used to having everything, all of my mess show. And you guys, I am a messy crafter. Okay, so I've just got my fork. I'm just going to take my wood beads out and try not to get my paint on my new shirt. Let me wipe that up. It is just acrylic paint, and it's, wash up with water only, but did not want to mess up my new shirt. Okay, so these beads are also going to have a vintage look to them. They did soak up some of the brown. The longer I leave them in the water, the darker they'll get. But I wasn't interested really in having them super dark brown. And I think that's all of them. Get this out of the way. Okay, let me set them there for a minute, and I'm going to dry them off with another napkin so I can pick them up and show you guys what they look like. Some parts of the beads tend to take the stain better than others, or the paint color, but now they're just they're very, very lightly, can you guys see that? Very, very lightly painted or stained. And usually the rounds, the actual beads, the middle section around the bead doesn't take the paint quite as dark as any of the other parts. So the ends tend to be darker color, and then it kind of has like a little ring around the middle of them. But I love it. And then my wood rounds just look like a stained. And they look very vintage. Anna, I can help you redo all of your Christmas decor this year. I can help with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got the 4 wood rounds, and basically they're just going to be right on the corners of my project. It's going to make it look like, and it does match, it pretty well matches my stained wood, but it's going to make it look like they're buttons or like they're huge snaps. What do you call, it's the upholstery, upholstery tags. That's kind of what I'm going for. They're going to be off the corners just a little bit of my fabric, half on, half off. I'm just using a little hot glue. I use high temperature hot glue because it sticks so well, and it doesn't tend to come off nearly as easy or break apart as easy. So that's why I'm using that. And just putting one in each corner. Now remember, my fabric was already held down with a dab of hot glue. I am not going to put hot glue anywhere else on that fabric because I want it to look like it would lift off of the board if I wanted it to. Because remember, I'm going for vintage. Okay, so here's what I have so far. I've got a bead in each corner. I've got my Santa on there. I love it just like this. And the reason I use a 2-inch block of wood is because it's super thick and it'll stand up on its own. And we could use this just like this. We wouldn't have to decorate it anymore. We wouldn't have to do anything different to it, but I am going to do something different. So what I'm going to do with the rest of these little guys is I'm going to create a wood hanger for the top so you could hang it if you wanted to. But I'm also going to use stiff wire to create that hanger so the beads will just stand up across the top in an arch. So if you're using it as a shelf sitter, the beads just add a little extra oomph to it. So that's what I'm going for. I'm going to slide this over out of the way so you can see it, but you can still see what I'm working on here. I should have 10, 2, 3. I do. I have 10 of the brown beads. And then I have been using off of this same purchased row of cranberry, I call them cranberry beads. But this is a garland that I bought at Hobby Lobby with all of just the little red shiny beads. I wanted to add a little bit more red to the top. So I'm going to use some of these mixed in with my brown. You guys, I have used off of this now. Some of you have watched every single project I've done, probably 5 times already. And I'm not even to halfway through that piece of garland. And it was an $8 rope of garland. I think it was 5 feet long, and it was 50% off, so it was $4. So but I'm going to take some of the beads off. That one's got glue on it. Probably going to take off 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I've got 10 of each one. I think that should be enough. We'll see if it's not. Let me get my wire pulled off. I pulled out way too much wire. Way too much. but that's okay. I can clip off any of the extra. Get that out of the way. So the wire is actually going to stand up here. It's way too tall. It's only going to be about that tall. But I'm going to go ahead and staple down one end of it. I use my little needle nose pliers and kind of roll up one end to make it like a curly Q. You see that? So it's just a curly Q. And the reason I do that is because the wire that is left sticking out here, I do not want it to poke anybody. So I've got an electric stapler here. Got staples in. I'm going to go ahead and mount one end of my wire. So when I'm putting my beads on, they won't fall off the end. Hold on, let me straighten out part of this wire. I can bend it again when I'm ready. Hold on for the noise. Okay. Now, oh, I knocked my wood round off with the stapler. Put it back on. Probably because they're a little damp, and I'm putting them on damp from being sitting in that water in the paint. It just popped right off. Okay. All right. So here we have it. We've got my wire on the end, and what I'm going to do is every other one, red and brown. So I just feed them on. The brown ones are a little larger than the red. And you will see what I've got when let me get these all on. I know my hands are in front of the camera. So like I said, when I saw this transfer this morning, I knew I had this block of wood laying there. I'm like, that's the project for today. That's what I want to do. I've been wanting to use the vintage Santa, but I couldn't think of exactly what to do. And this morning it just popped into my brain. So here we are doing vintage Santa and vintage beads on muslin. I've got 10 of my red cranberry beads. I've got 10 of the brown beads that I stained using paint. And I'm just alternating putting them on. Can you see? Alternating them one right after the other. Putting them on my wire like this. Actually, I think I'm going to end with that red one because I started with a red one down here. So now, how cute is this? Let me slip my wire through. I should have brought a hammer and hammered my staple in exactly where I wanted it to be. I mean, it's exactly where I want it to be, but exactly the length I wanted it to be. There we go. All right, so can you see that? And it's very vintagey. Super cute. And then I'm going to staple in this end. Twist it around here where I can get it on my right-hand side. So is it better now that I have a camera that has actually got everything facing the right direction? What do you guys think? I'm so excited for that. Okay, bear with me for the noise. Here we go. Turn that off, get it out of my way. And then I'm going to get rid of some of the extra length of this wire with my wire cutters. They're not wanting to actually cut. Hey, Diane, you like that? I'll turn it around here in a minute. I'm almost finished. My wire cutters are not wanting to cut my wire this morning. I think it's time for a new pair. I think these were like the 98-cent ones from the Walmart, the men's section. What do you call the men's department at Walmart? Like the housewares, not housewares. Anyway, there it goes. Okay, and then I'm going to take my pliers and just kind of just twist that around to get it all curly cued out of the way. And the extra will just lay here on the top. Get my pliers out. Okay, here's what we have. So if you're wanting this for a shelf sitter, then your wire will just stand up at the top and it's super cute. Or you could actually hang it. Now, the last thing I've got, you guys know me. Everybody knows I'm a bow person. I love to do bows. So, let me get my one bead out of the way, get this out of the way. This is going to be a super simple bow, and I think it's going to go just right here on this side. It's going to go right there. I always use burlap, almost always. This is the frayed edge. It's my favorite kind. I'm going to do a little messy bow, kind of small. I'm going to do 4 pieces about 4 inches long of the burlap. And I'm going to do 4 pieces of this candy cane. The candy cane makes me think vintage as well. It's going to be about 4 inches long too. I need 4 pieces of that. The candy cane ribbon I got from Walmart in the holiday decor section. Back in the back, you know, where they have outdoor plants and Christmas trees and all that kind of stuff the rest of the year. It was $1.98 for a 12-foot roll, and I've used off of this several times already. The burlap, the frayed edge burlap came from Hobby Lobby. I get this in 2 sizes. This is the 1.5 inch, and then I have a 2 inch, or maybe it's a 2.5. But I love this stuff. They keep it year round. This is my favorite burlap. It is $8 for 30 feet. But of course, I always get it when it's 50% off. So it'd be $4 for 30 feet. But that's my favorite ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to take my candy cane ribbon. I'm calling it candy cane because it's striped. You guys see that? And I'm actually going to dovetail my ends. I fold my ribbon in half, and then I make a V cut up to the wired edge. It just makes it a little fancier. The burlap, I'm not going to do that too because it'll just fray. Hey, Angie. Hey, Jessica. I am almost finished with today's craft. It is a vintage Santa. But I think he's super cute. I'm loving it. Okay, so all I'm going to do is crisscross, making a messy bow. So I make an X like that with my ribbons, just hold it with my finger in the middle. I do my 2 burlap, and then I'll do my 2 candy canes, and then my 2 burlap on top of that, and then my 2 candy canes. So I've got 8 layers in an X like that. I've got a small piece of twine already cut, and you literally just put the twine across the middle of the X like this, flip it upside down, and tie a knot. When you're tying, you're going to cinch it as tight as you possibly can. It should kind of bunch your burlap and your ribbon up in the middle. That's what you're going for. And then cut off your extra of your twine. So now I have an X that's all tied together, and you literally just fluff it. Fluff it like this. I just bend them. And the good thing about the burlap and the wired is they hold their shape really, really well. It makes it cute. It's layered. You can twist them where you want them to go, and it's going to go right there. But I think sticking out of this, I'm actually going to, hold on just 1 second. This top burlap or top candy cane's a little long. I think I've got this one little piece of greenery, and it's got the little balls on it, kind of like the berries, and I really like it. I think I'm going to use some of this in the middle of this bow. I've been pulling the same piece apart. I've used it a few different times. And I just pull off what I want. It breaks pretty easy. And I think I'm actually going to add it in the middle underneath. I am. Okay, so I'm going to start doing this. I've actually got that piece of jute in the middle, and I'm going to add some glue and shove in some of my decorative stuff that I like. Right smack in the middle of that bow, of the messy bow. was trying to kind of get it under so it'll stick out. I know I'm far away from the camera today, you guys. Kind of far to see. Let me cut this down and make it a little bit shorter. I just thought the bow could use a little something else. That's the good thing about when you're making something, it's homemade, you can make it however you want it. It's going to be super cute. It'll be your taste. You don't have to worry about whether everybody loves it or not. Thank you for sprinkling, Shannon. Thank you, Angie. Yeah, you guys, as you sprinkle the video, be sure to let me know. Okay, one more little piece. I'm going to cut it off a little bit too, and then we're going to glue this on and be finished. I hope this gets everybody in the mood to decorate for the holidays, even though it's not even Thanksgiving time yet. I'm trying to bump everybody up quicker and get us all ready for the holidays. Trying to let my glue dry, trying to be patient with it. Bear with me. Okay, so here's what I have now. I have some greenery coming out of the middle and some little Christmas balls coming out of the middle. And now I'm going to pull off all the extra glue. If you guys have ever worked with hot glue, you know hot glue makes a hot mess. But it's such a necessity. Okay, turn it over, put a bunch of glue on the back, and then I'm going to glue it right at the base of where that handle comes to the top. Let me hold it for a second. I will flip this around so you guys can enjoy it. How cute is that? I know it's hard to see with me sitting behind it, and like I said, I am so far away. Oh, but it looks so cute. And then once the glue is good and dry, which it's not yet, I can go back and I can fluff on my greenery up there and my bow. And that is my vintage Santa Claus. So tell me guys what you guys think. Thank you, Anna, for sprinkling. Hey, Aunt Carol, you caught me right at the end. I did a vintage Santa Claus today. But that is today's project. I don't think it took too long. Try to see what time it is. About 45 minutes. So that wasn't too bad. Thank you guys for watching. I enjoy having every one of you here with me. I hope you enjoy the project. If this is something you guys need in your life, let me know. I can hook you up with it. Be sure to share the video, especially tell your friends to watch the replay. Get them interested in crafting too. I hope I inspired you to make something today and to be a creator. And anyway, have a great day. Talk to you guys later. Bye.